Welcome to Rest Here Podcast with Alyssa and Jeremy. Jeremy, how are you doing on this fine Tuesday night?
Hey, I'm doing okay. We're back. Doing another podcast.
Doing another podcast.
Yeah, I'm good though. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. We just ended work. Everything's kind of chill. I will say, Jeremy, the weather is fantastic in the last few days. What a time to finally be out of the rain and be alive.
It has been nice, I have to say. It has been very, very nice.
Yes. But yeah, it's been really nice weather. I've been going on runs a lot more now that it stopped raining a bit, and yeah, that's honestly all I'm really up to.
Yeah, I've just been working and went to a St. Patty's Day celebration this past weekend on the peninsula. Went to a few Irish bars. That was fun.
Nice.
Chatted with some strangers who happen to be Irish and never saw them again. And that's apparently what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to hang out with people. Is it
the Irish goodbye they so speak of?
Something like that. Yeah. Shepherd's pie. It was good.
Is there any specific whiskey that you had?
Yeah, Redbreast. Have you heard of it?
No, I've never heard of that brand before.
Really, really, really good Irish whiskey. My buddy bought me a bottle of the 15-year a few years ago, and I've been babying it for years now because it's just so delicious.
Okay.
Yeah, check it out when you have a chance. Redbreast is really good.
I don't know if this is Irish or Scottish, and it's probably I don't want to offend people by saying the wrong thing. But is Macallan Irish? Because that might, aside from Jameson, Macallan's probably the only other Irish whiskey I've had, unless it's Scottish. Then I'm wrong.
That is Scottish.
Okay, there you see. There you go. That's why I say these things.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. It's totally fine.
Yeah, it's like Scottish whiskey is one of those things that's like, if it's called Scotch, it has to be from Scotland. It's like champagne from France, it has to be from Champagne.
Fair, yeah.
It's like, it's so interesting how they have those rules, you know? Yeah, that was my weekend. How was your weekend?
So, the only interesting I have, non-gaming thing I have to talk about is I started a new anime, just like a short watch. But have you ever? Jeremy, you probably know this anime. Who am I kidding? Have you ever watched OddTaxi?
I love that show. Oh my god, it's one of my favorites.
I am on episode 3, and the mystery is afoot of where the missing cat is, and it's awesome. Like,
yeah.
You know what I love? You know what I love about this show, by the way?
Mm-hmm.
What I like about this show, for anyone who's never heard of OddTaxi, it's a sort of it's a slice of life crime mystery drama, because it's the slice of life, meaning that it's an ensemble cast of, I want to say, maybe 10 characters that are fairly integral to the storyline, that all have, different lives and different personalities, and as you can imagine, they all intertwine in some way. They're all starting to intertwine in some way, but then the core of the show is there's a mystery because there's a missing cat. Oh, it's missing character.
Yeah,
who's a cat. And so the reason I say it's a missing cat is because in OddTaxi, everyone is a random animal. And what's kind of cool is everyone is sort of an animal, but I don't think that the character design of the animal is chosen because of a personality or trait of the animal, if that makes sense. So it's like, for example, like Otakawa, the main main character, is a walrus, but there's nothing about him that would, like, in that I would say is a trait of a walrus. It's just they just drew him as a walrus. And same with Shirakawa, who is an alpaca, but like straight up, there's no alpaca traits with her. It's like the the artists just chose an alpaca because they were just like, fuck it, we're gonna make her an alpaca. You know what I mean? So it's like I like that a lot. How it's just there's nothing that seems to be related with the animal type of why it was chosen. It's just the fact that they're fucking animals, which is fun. Because I don't know, it's just really fun to watch. And so the missing character is a cat. And so the mystery is afoot here, and it's introducing characters in such a way that it seems like everyone might be involved or like knows a little piece of the puzzle to solving the mystery of like where she is. And I fucking love this show. Also, I know it's only 12 episodes, but damn, I might finish this weekend. So we'll see. We'll see.
Okay, I like where your thinking is. There's a lot left to watch. You said you're on 3, so there's a lot left to watch, and I cannot.
Oh yeah, I bet. Yeah,
I cannot wait for you to tell me when you finish that anime. The moment you finish it, just text me and tell me your thoughts, because I want to know.
Okay.
Because I fucking love that show, and I don't want to tell you why because I might say too much, but I will tell you.
Oh yeah. Don't say anything.
Nothing.
Because...
Don't worry. I won't say anything. All I will tell you is 2 things. When you're done with the show, watch the movie. It's called OddTaxi Into the Woods.
So that's what because I noticed that there was another episode on Crunchy, and that's good to know that it's a movie.
Yeah, it's a movie that recaps the entire series, so you're going to see a lot of the same things, but it also adds new things in between and new information that you.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I kind of like that. Yeah. So that's exciting.
And there's a sequel-ish spin-off series called Root of OddTaxi coming out in April. So
that's
literally next month.
Wow.
So
what a time to be alive.
Yeah,
what a time for me to pick
timing.
up this. Yeah. God, what a fantastic time for me to even watch this show. Okay.
Right?
That's great. That's good to know.
And then on top of that, the third thing that I want to mention is that there's a live action version of Root of OddTaxi coming out, and there's a character poster that shows all the characters, and it looks.
I don't know if I like that.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, it's gonna be interesting. But I say just watch the show first. You know, don't look at anything else. Just watch the show.
No. Once I realized that this was a mystery, I didn't even subscribe to the OddTaxi sub. I didn't look at it because I was like, at first I was like, oh, like this is kind of cool. Like I want to look more into it. But then once it was very clear to me that this was there was something that needed to be solved, I was like, oh no. I I want to try to solve it myself.
Yep. It's like playing one of the Yakuza games like a Dragon Games blind. You don't want a guide. You're just like, I want to find out what happens.
Yes, exactly. So
yeah.
Another reason, Jeremy, why I'm like, I probably need to finish this by this weekend.
Yeah, I think you should, because if you try to look up more stuff, you might get spoiled. So just stick to like you're doing a good job of not looking at anything. Just watch the show and you'll be fine. Everything will be great.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Awesome. I will. Do you care? Do you want me to live update you on every episode I watch, or like, do you only want me?
Just the ending.
Okay.
Just tell me what you think about the ending. Honestly.
Okay. For sure.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. But yeah, that's one of my favorite animes of all time.
I'm loving it so far. So
yeah, great. When you're done, if you need Rex, because you're already on a good path. You found this out on your own. I didn't have to tell you. If you need Rex, let me know.
You know what's okay? Yes, but what's funny about that, Jeremy, is I found I don't know what category, because you know how like Crunchy, like their categories are out of control. I'm pretty sure I found it in like a weird like one of those like crazy categories. I'm like, what is this? But I wish I knew what category it was, because it was definitely like an off the wall type. So
yeah,
but yeah,
that's like some of their categories are so funny. Like the playlists are so funny,
dude. I swear to God, these playlists. So for anyone who doesn't have Crunchyroll, which is the anime streaming app, because I mean, like, it depends, because like I know some people are on Funimation, but now that's absorbed into Crunchy, and I know some people are on High Dive, but for anyone who has Crunchy and knows, like, these categories are out of control. So
yeah,
like, but I will say, if it wasn't for these weird categories, I would have never found OddTaxi. So
True.
Yeah, so
True.
that's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say for now.
There's thousands of shows on Crunchyroll, so I don't blame anybody if you don't know. If you, like, there's a lot of really good diamonds in the rough, and there's some interesting shows, and there's some like really really good shows. There's some popular shows, but
for sure,
these playlists do help put a spotlight on it. So, for example, the two I'm looking at right now are there's one called Courageous Cowards, and it's you don't have to be brave to be a hero, and it's got like Madoka Magica, Demon Slayer. Bungo, Stray Dogs, My Hero Academia, One Piece. So, shows like that. And then the one below it's called It Takes Two, the helpful partner you'll never get in a class group project. That's so funny. And it's got like Ace Attorney, which is great. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Inspector. Yeah, so there's some really good playlists, and I think and it, like I said, it helps spotlight some lesser known shows.
Which is great.
Yeah. So I encourage people to check out Crunchyroll's playlist if you can, because you might find some shows like Alyssa did. On the flip side, I'm watching a drama crime mystery show on Max called Tokyo Vice. Have you ever heard of it?
Okay. Now tell me, is that worth watching? Because I saw it, but I wasn't sure if it was something I wanted to pick up.
Okay, let me describe it to you. So, based on my description, maybe you'll want to watch it. So, the show is loosely based, and I say this very heavily.
By the way, for the record, like, I don't. Okay, and this is just this is just a me thing. But when I found out that the main character was a Baby Driver, I wasn't interested in watching it. But if you tell me that like this is good, like the plot's good, like I'll give Baby Driver a shot.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, okay. Let me describe it to you, and then if you are interested in just the plot alone, you can make your own decision. But so the show is loosely based on a book by this guy named Jake Adelstein, who was a reporter for the Asahi Shimbun, one of like the most prestigious papers in all of Japan, newspapers to be specific. And it was like it's set in the 90s, and he is like the only non-Japanese person to be able to get into the paper as a reporter, as a journalist. And the book follows his role as a journalist for this prestigious paper, while he's like smoking cigarettes and like staying up long nights and writing articles about like motorcycle gangs and theft. And eventually he starts going into stories about the Yakuza, and it leads him down a path of meeting some shady characters, and eventually writing a story about a mob boss who puts him in a lot of danger. So there's a lot of elements from the show that are borrowed from the books, but there's been a lot of criticism about the books because they don't seem real. At least the events don't seem real. And there's been a lot of people who have been trying to who don't corroborate with the events in the book. They're like, oh, that didn't really happen. Like, based on the timeline, such and such happened here, there, what have you. So for the show's sake, they change a lot of the names from the book, and the book actually does change some names too, for the privacy and safety of the people that were actually involved. So the show further changes the names of those people. And in the show, his name is Josh, but then his nickname is Jake. So they're trying to stray away from the original author, because the author, if you watch interviews of him, he kind of just seems like a crazy person a little bit here and there. But he's been defending his position as in his book being true for a very, very, very long time. So the show takes place actually in 1999 and not the early 90s like the book does. So there's this transition between the 90s and the early 2000s that you get to see in the show a little bit here and there. The show, again, borrows characters from the book, but there are some characters it focuses on that elongates their presence, and there's some that it creates whole new characters for to make the story better. But the main two characters, I would say, are Jake Adelstein, played by Ansel Elgort, and Detective Katagiri, played by Ken Watanabe. Ken Watanabe steals the show. He's so good. He's like one of the best characters in the entire show. And he's, of course, an amazing actor.
Love him.
Yeah,
love
he convinces me so much that he's a real detective that I'm just like, this. What does he do for a job? Like, oh, he's an actor. Of course, he's an actor. And it's really cool getting lost into 1990s, early 2000s Japan because like the entire show is shot in Tokyo. It's one of the first and only American TV shows to ever be shot in Tokyo. Completely shot in Tokyo. So that being said, a lot of the main characters have to speak Japanese, and you have two of the leads who are not Asian and they're speaking Japanese, and albeit not fluently, their accents are a little American, but it's still fun to hear, and it's really cool to see that they're trying because Ansel Elgort had to go through a lot of training and especially learning Japanese, and he had to become essentially fluent in Japanese by the end of the first season so that he can, portray his character correctly. And then there's a second season that came out recently, and his Japanese I think got better. But overall, I feel like his characterization is really good. Ken Watanabe is just solid throughout. There's a lot of characters that come and go in the series, it's like the show focuses on Ansel Elgort as the detective, as the reporter. Ken Watanabe is the detective, and then another character who's a hostess, and another character who's in the Yakuza. Those are kind of like the four main leads, I would say. So you get a peek into all the different worlds. So there's four different leads who lead four different lives, and all their lives intersect with the nightlife of Japan. So there are times when these characters meet up, and like, oh, it's nighttime, and they meet up at a club, or they meet up at a bar, or they meet up at like an izakaya or something. It's just a really cool show overall. It's really cool seeing how they shot parts of Tokyo that look older, or at least use special effects on some things to make it look like not as it does now. And I think that's really neat. Like, for example, Tokyo Skytree does not exist in this world because it wasn't around until like the late 2010s. So you're not going to see Tokyo Skytree. But it's really cool how they have to hide things, how they film things at certain angles, how the lenses look. Like the cinematography is really beautiful because they use like some kind of like lens that has like all this flaring, so it makes the show look older, at least like as far as like a visual look, to make you feel like you're in the 90s, early 2000s. And yeah, it's a really cool show. I've been really enjoying like the crime drama part of it, and just seeing Ken Watanabe run around in a suit and smoking cigarettes and trying to take down bad guys. It's a pretty good show. I highly recommend it. Give at least the first episode a try, because I think that sets the tone, Alyssa. And if you don't like it because it's Baby Driver, well, then I don't blame you. Like he has a baby face throughout the entire thing, and I'm like, you're supposed to be in your late 20s or 30s, and you look like you're 25 the whole time.
Right.
Yeah, it's good. There's a lot of things that remind me of the Yakuza Like a Dragon games, and maybe that's why I really like it so much.
Okay. All right. I'll give this a shot.
Yeah. There's currently 7 episodes released of season 2 out of 10, and like they're doing it week by week. So this Thursday is when episode 8 is going to come out.
Okay. All right, Jeremy. I'll give this a shot.
Sounds good.
Yes.
But yeah, that's about the only TV I'm watching. There's like a new show called The Acolyte coming out from
for Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars. That looks pretty cool. The trailer dropped today.
So what's interesting about that TV show, and I like it was a trailer that intrigued me, and then I realized, I think I know why this intrigued me. It's because it's something that's not related to the Jedi, to the not Jedi, to the any of the trilogies.
Right, same.
And it just seems like a completely new plot, and which I'm welcome to all of that.
Yeah.
In fact, I think it's been long overdue.
I agree, and I feel like we're at a point where there is like superhero fatigue, Star Wars fatigue, just certain genres of movie fatigue. And this is very refreshing to see Star Wars placed years and years and years before the original trilogy, because we need that. We need fresh stories. Otherwise things are going to get old. But the biggest thing that drew me in was seeing Lee Jung-jae as the lead. I was like, yo.
Oh, yeah.
My boy, he's made it. He made it. I just want to see him wielding a lightsaber, kicking ass. That's all I want to see. I'll be so happy.
I was genuinely really shocked when I saw him in the trailer. I had no idea. No idea.
Yeah, I've seen him in a lot of Korean movies. And then when I saw him in this,
same.
I was like, what are you doing? This is insane.
Yeah, I know.
Dude.
Yeah, I was like, when did you make this jump?
I know. Like, it's really cool seeing Asian actors who are primarily in Asian movies and TV shows make the jump into, like, American media. Like, you know, there's, like, this one actor, his name is Yamapi. That's his nickname. And he's in Tokyo Vice, and I was like, I did not expect to see you in this American TV show, but it is set in Japan, so obviously that makes sense. But I was like, wow, that's really cool. Like seeing Asian actors make that jump because a lot of Hollywood studios are paying attention. At least that's what I want to believe. You know, like Hollywood studios are paying attention, and they notice that there are shows out there that make it big. And I think that if Squid Game did not come out, he would not be in The Acolyte. I'm not joking. Like, I feel like that show put him on
absolutely
the map.
not.
Yeah.
He would have never been considered. So
yeah.
I'm open to this.
Oh yeah. And I just hope that more of the Parasite gang gets work in America because they deserve it. Like the people
that would be really fun.
Yeah, like all the actors in Parasite.
Although R.I.P. to one of them.
Oh yeah, R.I.P.
Yeah.
Oh man, but
yeah.
Good stuff. So what are you playing right now?
I've only been playing one game, Jeremy.
Nice.
And it's Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. No one should be surprised. So my updates, because I know you're on chapter 4. I feel like I'm at the end of chapter 5.
Okay.
Oh, and for the record, I already told you this, Jeremy, but just a warning for anyone else who's playing. Chapter 4 is long. It's a long chapter, and it's as long as chapter 6, I feel like a Dragon 7, if anyone knows what I mean.
Yeah, because I felt like it was either chapter 2 or 3 or both of them, they just went by so quickly. I was like, really? Is this how the game is? Then I remember.
Oh no, they did all right.
Yeah.
What I would say about chapter 4, which is not a spoiler, is that chapter 4, I think, introduces the ways to grind.
Thank God.
And they sure introduce it already. So, but basically, you'll now know how to buff everyone up at this point. It's like, oh, I'm low. I feel like I'm a low level. Psych. The chapter 4 changes the game.
Thank God, because I entered a sub story and everybody was 5 levels above me, and I was doing such minimal damage. I was like, oh no.
Okay, so it's funny that you say that, because it wasn't until I finished chapter 4 that I realized how underleveled I was.
Yes.
Because this whole time I thought that I was fairly scaled to whatever chapters, bosses that I had been encountering. I mean, obviously I'd been beating everyone and everything's been fine, but it wasn't until going through chapter 4 that it's like I was beating everyone, but God, I could have made my life easier.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it turns out I was severely underleveled.
Yep. Yep.
You know how in a game before, especially, this comes out in Yakuza and Like a Dragon all the time, where you're about to go into a stage where you're not going to save for a while. Do you want to go? And obviously that's everyone's cue. Oh, I got to prep. I got to do this. I got to do that. So what this particular chapter does is, before you enter the point of no return, they straight up tell you should be at this level before entering this next stage.
Right.
And they straight up tell you that. And then I was just like, what? I'm 4 levels under there.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I learned my lesson. So.
I learned the hard way. I literally had to restart my game. I was like, yeah.
For sure.
Okay, good to know because
Yes.
I definitely had a wake up call and I was like, I need to level up.
No,
Somehow.
it's. I think I feel like this has to be normal. Like I feel like I've been playing the game at what I would assume is the normal pace.
Right. Okay.
So I don't think this is a we didn't listen sort of
Right.
type of level.
Yeah.
I think we're fine. Yeah. That being said, how far are you into chapter 4 and tell me the location you're at? But
I don't know how far.
okay.
All I know is that I'm at the.
Just tell me what the surroundings, like literally what is the background?
I'm at the Ala Moana Mall. I don't know if you know where that is, but I only know
Oh.
it. I only know it as the Ala Moana Mall in real life. I forgot what it was called in the game.
Oh god, you're right. That's so funny because I knew what the name was, but now that you called it the Ala Moana Mall, I don't actually know what it's called. It's like it's like the Like a Dragon name.
Yeah.
Anaconda.
I was like, that's a dumb name, and I was like, I'm gonna call it Ala Moana because like I totally forgot about it. I saw it and he was go to meet the Anaconda Mall. I'm like, what the fuck? Why am I gonna call it that? So I've been calling it Ala Moana in my head. But yeah, I'm there. I did not do anything. I've been like trying to collect Tomizawa's like bingo card stuff, so I've been running around. And then I accidentally ran into a sub-story on accident, and that's when I found that I was too low of a level to fight the people in the sub-story, and I got really mad, and I was like, fuck this. Then I restarted my game.
I get it.
Yep.
Speaking of sub-stories, I encountered a very interesting sub-story where you know Nancy the crawfish?
Yeah.
So, Nancy the crawfish, for people who haven't played Like a Dragon 7, is Ichiban's trusty crawfish who it's some sort of submission, a sub story back in Like a Dragon 7, and then Nancy becomes part of Poundmates, and so that's sort of the context of where she comes from. Well, anyway, she's back and she falls in love with the hermit crabs, and I helped facilitated their love, Jeremy.
That one sub story is really long. I'm just gonna tell you this in advance.
No, now that you said that, did I even finish it? Because
no, you did not. There's a lot more, and I spent an hour trying to finish it last night. I was like, I want to go to bed, but I want to see where this goes, and I hate that I have to do that for these games. But I finished it. It's a long sub story for no fucking reason. I'm like, this is a lot longer than it should be, but I guess it makes sense. But there's just so much dialogue. I'm just so tired of the dialogue in the sub story sometimes. Like, there's one where this dude like falls in love, and I'm like, shut the fuck up, and I just kept like pressing X, and I'm just like, I don't fucking care.
Oh lordy.
Yeah, and it's a fun one, but I do want to say real quick make a quick tangent about Nancy.
Oh god, yes.
Tell
me about Nancy.
There's a prompt at the beginning of the game. It's like, should I take Nancy with me or not? I'm like, what if you didn't? Then you wouldn't get that sub story. Like, I have no idea. Do you remember that?
That's a good. Whoa, I didn't realize. Well, one, I didn't realize that was even a prompt. Two, if you didn't bring Nancy, does that mean you wouldn't have, like, for example, for anyone who's trying to 100% the game, does that mean you're shit out of luck until you play New Game Plus?
I think so. Honestly, I think so, because you don't have that character to spawn that sub story.
That's kind of crazy, honestly. For fucking Nancy?
Yeah, I know. I was like, it was like, do you want to take Nancy with you? And I was like, I don't know if Nancy has like TSA pre-check or global entry, or I don't know if they allow crawfish on planes, but I was like, all right, I guess I'll do it and see what happens. Did not get stopped at customs. Just want to say, what the fuck, America? How'd you let that in? But it happened.
God, this is all a good point. How she even made it onto the plane. And you know what? I'm not going to question it, Jeremy. This is.
I don't know if we had to buy Nancy a plane ticket, but all I know is that when we landed, all our money got converted, and it was the same exact money I had when I left Japan. So I guess we didn't buy a plane ticket for Nancy. That's all.
Yeah, that's okay. All right. There you go.
But yeah. So,
and then.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no! Finish your thought.
All I want to say was, Nancy's journey has just begun, and I don't know what else we're gonna encounter. I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
For the record, we got a whole. I don't know. I actually haven't looked up how many chapters there are in Infinite Wealth just because I didn't want spoilers. I'm assuming we. This is probably 15 chapters, so we got some time apparently with Nancy, and I'm looking forward to it apparently. So the last time we recorded about Infinite Wealth. We talked a little bit about the food delivery game and how I mentioned how, I'm probably going to spend a whole weekend to just completely finish the game. Well, I spent a whole weekend finishing the mini game. So I've got the trophy for the food delivery. I maxed out everything. And yeah, this is what I do with my life, Jeremy.
Oh, yeah.
I deliver pizza, I deliver burgers, and I deliver bento boxes. And then sometimes I jump on hotel walls and then make crazy loops. So I am proud of. That's probably my most proud trophy because I will admit it's a very addicting game and it's a good time.
Yeah. It's still one of my current obsessions. Like, I mean, you don't get much money from it, but
you get items though.
Yeah, you get items.
That's valuable. You get items, all right.
You get points and you get items, and I was like, hell yeah.
Exactly. And on top of other mini games, dude, I don't know why I'm kind of into Sujimon right now.
Yeah.
It's weird because I wasn't into Sujimon or just that whole concept in Like a Dragon 7, but this time around I've kind of embraced it a little bit more. I think part of it is because I've been getting more money and more items and material out of it that I guess I've been playing a lot, but I'm pretty consumed with the whole process of just kind of buffing up my Sujimon, like unlocking more Sujimon. Like I'm into it. There's a sort of park that is near the bar, and this park is a breeding ground for all kinds of Sujimon. So it's one of those sort of parks that have a lot of homeless people, but basically you could recruit all of these homeless people as a Sujimon. Yeah.
I love that there's like this pseudo Pokemon clone within the game, and it's like just the full game too. It's like, oh yeah, we just made this for the game. It's like, you can get ridiculous. Lost in any of these mini games. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It is ridiculous. And just as much as I'm on my karaoke game in Revolve. Now that I've unlocked Chitose, dude, Chitose's song in karaoke is like pretty awesome.
I can't wait to hear it.
Yes. And did Eric have a song? I don't remember. Anyways.
Yeah.
But that's kind of where I'm at right now with the game. Oh, and then the last thing I have to say about the game is I played the entirety of Chapter 4 with English dub after our conversation.
Okay, and?
Okay. Now this is a fun irony about about the English dub. Sometimes I feel like with the English dub, it's English people that are speaking Japanese when the person is supposed to be Japanese, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, so for example, like in the sub stories, there's some sub stories that of course might involve like a Japanese person because because of the population and whatever. And sometimes it feels like basically it's like you would think that the Japanese dub would get English people for their parts, and you would think that the English dub would get Japanese people for their parts, but they didn't. And for the record, I haven't Googled to confirm if this localization fact is true, but that's what it feels like.
Huh. When you're
I will say I like Ichiban's voice actor. I think that it's fine. Like I definitely prefer sort of like the expression that comes from the Japanese dub, because I think that what I mean to say is I think the Japanese dub is more expressive with Ichiban, and I prefer that, but I don't think that the English dub is that bad. Kiryu's English dub, he sounds way too young to be Kiryu. That's all I'll say. I was like, can we just establish how old he is? Come on.
Right.
But I will say, it's like, that would be a good Kiryu voice in my opinion, in maybe like Kiwami or like in the younger years. But it's like I hear it now, I'm like, I'm not buying it.
Yeah. I think we both associate Kiryu's voice actor with Kiryu, so it's kind of hard to stray from that.
Exactly. I don't like the English dub at all for Eric.
Oh no.
I think that the Japanese dub's way better.
Okay.
Yeah. I will say I'm playing chapter 5 and I did not switch over yet though. Like it's not bad. It's like serviceable, and like I said, I think Ichiban's voice is fine. I will probably switch, and it's out of laziness because it's like switching over because you gotta exit the screen and like
yeah.
And which, by the way, I can easily do. Jeremy. I'm just fucking lazy. I'm fucking lazy.
Because you can go to the main menu of the PS5, click on continue game, and it takes you right where you left off. I understand.
Exactly. So, I mean, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all my updates.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for sharing all that, by the way, and thank you for doing the test. So my only 2 questions about the English dub are: when you're walking around town, do people still say, "What are you looking at?" And
yes, but it is in a like they say variants of that, and it sounds way more way more of an American accent.
Oh, well, I mean that makes sense. And are there any Hawaiian sounding people in the English dub?
It's okay. So it sounds, sometimes I feel like they got, like in some of the instances where they're trying to portray a Hawaiian accent or a pidgin. Sometimes it feels like they got a Jamaican accent.
Oh, okay. That's totally wrong.
Yeah. But that's just my opinion. And to be completely honest, I personally don't think there's a lot of Hawaiian accents or pidgin in the English dub.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Based off what I was listening to.
Got it.
Yeah. Which is kind of disappointing.
Yeah. I mean, there are voice actors and actresses that are from Hawaii that definitely could do the job. I'm just wondering why that wasn't looked into more.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's all I got. In the news, anything in the news you want to talk about?
Yeah, so there's only one major news piece that I saw that's kind of interesting, and it's that Valve is working on, or introduced a beta called Steam Families, and it's going to allow basically players to create a quote family that you can share and play games with. And so the beta is currently open. There's now shareable games that you can go with. According to Game Informer, Baldur's Gate 3, Helldivers 2, Elden Ring, Hogwarts Legacy, those are games that are eligible for family sharing. Some of the major caveats is 2 members can't play one copy of the game at the same time, and members can leave a group or Steam family at any time. But if you create a Steam family and a person leaves, that person has to wait a whole year before joining the family again. So there's probably some more details, important details regarding like Steam family, or just like the group that you create. But I don't know. I think I will say it is kind of interesting because I had this conversation about like how I wish I could share a Steam game with a friend, like legit 4 days ago. And it's funny that this is actually happening now.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, that's kind of cool. Like just make games more accessible to people. I will say it doesn't list on the Game Informer article, it doesn't list that you have to pay any more extra to make this happen. So for as far as I can tell, in theory, it's kind of like, actually being in a Steam family is free, and it really the only price you're paying is for whatever game that you're sharing.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
But I think the only thing you'd have to do is communicate and make sure that you're not playing this at the same time as certain games.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like it seems like fairly reasonable.
Right.
Yeah. Like it just like really like it's one of those things where I feel like if you got banned or you had to try really hard to basically mess this up. So
Right.
yeah. And then the Summer Game Fest is officially on June 7th. It starts on June 7th. I mean to say starts on June 7th, but yeah.
Got it. And does that mean that the show is happening on June 7th or
It is.
Oh, okay.
The live stream starts on June 7th.
I'm going to put that in my calendar.
I got to say, now that we don't have E3, we don't have E3 or and a lot of the usual some of the usual conventions aren't so emphasized in terms of announcing games. But man, I really enjoyed Summer Games Fest last year.
Yeah.
It was a really good time.
Yeah, I did too. It's like there's two big game events we get to look forward to: the Game Awards, Summer Games Fest. Those are the two ones. And it's always great seeing like all those reveals too, all the trailer reveals, all that stuff. It's always great. So yeah, I'm excited to see what we're gonna get revealed this time and how many like shows, or not shows, how many games are gonna be announced and how many games are gonna get updates on. And yeah, I don't know. I don't want to predict anything because I feel like we'll just get surprised and who knows?
Oh yeah,
well,
exactly.
I definitely want to do a debrief podcast about it, Alyssa. When it's over.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that actually I have one question for you. I realize that's no longer related to news, but if we can go back to Like a Dragon real quick.
Sure.
Okay. I'm caveating by saying that you can answer yes or no, knowing that I know the spoiler for it.
Okay.
Because you played Gaiden, right?
I'm not done with it, but I'm playing it.
Okay. And you're okay to answer yes or no. And
Okay.
I feel like it's like for listeners, if you know, then you know. But okay. The end of chapter 3 for Infinite Wealth, is that talked about in Gaiden?
Not that I've seen yet.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, for sure. I was curious if this like I felt like I got swerved a bit, and it was sort of like this shit. Should I play Gaiden?
Yeah, I will let you know that, but it's,
okay.
Yeah, I because like we're not explicitly told when that happened.
Okay.
We're just told that it happened, And
Okay.
in Gaiden, it's like because it's set between 6 and 7. There's a lot more
Okay.
stuff happening in that talk about 6 and 7 than they do actually 8.
Okay.
So the focus is the timeline of Gaiden is like there's so much happening in Gaiden because it's happening between 6 and 7. So yeah, if I know something, I will let you know. Otherwise, just keeping on,
Yeah, keeping on. All right, I think that's all we got today.
Cool. Yeah, that's all I got too. If you would like to leave us a comment or question, you can kindly go to our website, which is www.resthearepodcast.com. It'll redirect you to our Podbean, where you can email us at the old-fashioned way, resthearepodcast@gmail.com. You can comment on any of our Podbean episodes. You can join our Discord community. You can write us a review on Apple Podcasts. You can comment on any of our YouTube videos. And on our website, you can click on Pages, go to Contact, and that will take you directly to the Contact page, where you can find links to all that stuff. Yeah, so that's about it. We don't have any comments or questions this time, but yeah, please leave us one. We'd love to read it on the podcast, and get your voice
Yes.
heard.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Rest Here, and have a good night.
Take care. See ya.